Hello my friends and welcome to yet another Simon Miller video from my weird, humble abode. Not going to get into it, I'm on one of my secret missions, whatever that means, although very soon you will figure out what it does mean. But I do want to make another video because this is one of the craziest weeks in professional wrestling. Like, as I am talking to you, and I want to be very careful here because who the hell knows what's going on, TNA just announced that Scott D'Amore is no longer their president or whatever job he did have. And then when you get back over to WWE, the constant conversation is, of course, what's going on with Cody Rhodes, what's going on with The Rock, and what the hell is going on with Roman Reigns. Though actually, Roman has been so damn quiet during all of this, he probably finds it hilarious. There is so much that we could get into, but I'm sure you've already read it. And I think when we do get to these kind of situations, the major thing we do have to do is wait and see. I know that sounds pathetic, and of course we should fantasy book and we should speculate in a professional sense, don't go too crazy with it. But my gut tells me, even though WWE may have made the best of this situation in the sense that interest in the product right now is through the roof, and they sold an extra like 2,500 tickets for Raw over the damn weekend, that they are still a little bit confused and they probably didn't think all of this was going to down. Now, out of everything, and look, there's a hell of a lot, like I say. The quote that got me and got in my head and made me start going, wait a minute, what the hell does that mean? That doesn't sound true at all. The Dave Meltzer was talking about the fact all The Rock or Dwayne Johnson cares about is box office, his revenue, his records, is making sure there's more interest in the product. And when he's attached to something, he can go to someone else and say, hey man, look at this graph. I said hello, and everything went that way. But he also made it very clear that The Rock doesn't care if he gets cheered, and he doesn't care if he gets booed. Now, I started to ponder on this, because I was like, we have all decided, and I mean, we as the wrestling fan base, that The Rock wants to get cheered, which makes all the sense in the world. If you come back, you want to be the returning hero. Then I was like, well, there was that time when he was fighting Hulk Hogan, and again, this was like eons ago, but he was happy to flip it there. And he became Hollywood Rock back in 2002 or whatever it was. And then ever since then, I think the best way somebody put it was, that was The Rock, and ever since he did become massive in Hollywood, he became Dwayne The Rock Johnson, which makes all the sense in the world. You have to reinvent yourself, and your character is always going to change depending on what else you're doing. But given that The Rock himself was born into this world due to the fact that everybody was saying stuff like Rocky sucks, which yes, they said it on Raw, could there even be a teeniest slither that he ends his career, because I presume the match with Roman Reigns will be his last match, although we can get into that too, but could he end it as a bad guy? And as soon as that information did go into my body, I did another 180 on this. I've been flipping all over the place this week, and I was like, well actually, that would be badass, and I'd probably be more on board with it. And that doesn't mean that I think what has happened to Cody Rhodes is fair. I do not. We had a perfectly fun, acceptable, awesome story that we've built for 2 years, and you can go watch any of my videos. I was such a loudmouth going, oh, it doesn't matter that he lost at Mania 39, because he's definitely going to win at Mania 40, he's definitely going to be the guy to beat Roman Reigns. That's what I said. I use the word definitely, so somebody should come in here right now and chop my head off. Now, I still do think he will be the guy to dethrone the tribal chief, but now I'm thinking maybe it's SummerSlam. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? I don't know, but I want to make that clear. Hashtag, we want Cody. I'm down with it. But it doesn't stop that we've arrived here anyway. Like, even if Cody comes out on Raw SmackDown and goes, lol, I was only joking, that is still going to have affected the narrative, because again, it was such a simple story, you just had to continue on down the path with it. But now that I have arrived here, I think the best way for me to enjoy it, and again, I'm just talking from my own perspective, because what else can I do? I mean, I can talk from your perspective, Brad, should you so wish, but I'm not going to do that. But if The Rock does lean into the boos, if he gets booed live in person, we don't know yet. At the moment, it's all been when he's not been there. And it could change when people say, like, oh my gosh, it's The Rock, which has happened before. But if he does go in that direction and he starts being the old Rook when he runs people down, even if he says, that's right, Cody, I manipulated you into taking your spot, and then there's the whole, oh, you want to go to WrestleMania? It doesn't matter if you want to go to WrestleMania. It would make me laugh and it would tickle me. And because wrestling fans are fickle, Brian Danielson was 100% correct. I think I probably would start to enjoy it. And again, that's just because we've arrived here anyway, so we may as well find a way to pull the positives out of it. But not in my wildest dreams did I ever think Dwayne Johnson would have signed on for that, because I think he wants to portray himself as the all-conquering hero, which again, I totally understand. I think most of us would be the same. But ever since Dave Meltzer mentioned that quote, anytime any of this stuff comes up, I'm like, oh, but what if we do that? At the moment, we have no idea. So I'm recording this before the press conference, which is going to go live in a few hours, but hey ho, when you are away, we just have to upload videos as best as we can. And there has to be something seismic going down at that press conference, because again, it's come out, all of this was booked back in January, before the Royal Rumble, that's right. So you don't just get the T-Mobile Arena on a whim. And if you are about to kick something off between Roman Reigns and The Rock, that is where it's going to be, because I presume that neither of them are going to be on SmackDown, which is another problem for another day. So even if there was a plan in place, WWE are now aware of all the stuff with Cody Rhodes, so he is going to be inserted into this mix too. And given that it's a press conference that is open to the fans, and I believe it's free, I could be wrong, once again, I'm going although I think I know. What if The Rock does go up there, and he's on the podium going, oh my gosh, this is going to be the biggest WrestleMania ever, and he does get booed? Like, he has to be prepped into this. In no way is no one going to say, Dwayne, come here, just 1 second. This could happen. I don't think he's going to ignore it. I think he's smarter than that. So maybe he does have something ready. I'm going to compare it to something in my life. Not that you needed this, but we're going to do it anyway. When I first joined Progress Wrestling, I was the host. And everyone had told me, oh my gosh, Simon, the Progress audience, they're going to rip you alive. You're nothing but a YouTuber. It was just idiots trying to get in my head. So before I went out there, I had 2 promos essentially, because I was going to be doing the intro as the host, and I had oh, they like me promo, and I had oh, they hate me promo. I was going to have some fun and back and forth, and I was going to try and turn them onto my side. Now, if an idiot like me can be that prepared, when you're talking about the levels of WWE, surely The Rock is going to be prepared too. And I honestly do believe if it does do that, and he does get booed, and again, we don't know, and all of a sudden he does flip on a dime, it may win a lot of people over. And if it's funny and it's cutting like classic Rock was, well, one, I actually think that's more fun, and I think it's more entertaining than what we would do anyway. And 2, yeah, it probably would tap into my nostalgia gland, and we can go from there. Now, the real issue is, what does that make Roman Reigns? We're going to cheer Roman Reigns in that match. And when I do start saying all of these things, I once again convince myself that maybe, just maybe, we're going to do the triple threat match, Cody Rhodes versus The Rock versus Roman Reigns. Now, ultimately, I think with the Royal Rumble win, again, why WWE decided to have Cody Rhodes win the Rumble? If they knew The Rock was coming back weeks prior, I will never know. But the scenario that I think painted itself the best was Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Rock comes back. I'm going to be the special guest referee because, as finally we're talking about, Bloodline keeps running in. You get to WrestleMania 40. Rock bottom on Jay. Rock bottom on Solo Sikoa. The Rock never touches Roman because, again, that's the match to do the line, but also it protects Cody. Cody hits the crossroads. 1, 2, 3. He's your champion. I understand trying to get to WrestleMania 41 is going to be a problem because I'm sure The Rock has a bunch of projects he wants to do. Maybe you can do it at SummerSlam or Saudi, but then you do The Rock versus Roman Reigns. The title isn't involved, and that makes the match more interesting from my own opinion because at the moment, if The Rock takes on Roman Reigns, which I presume he will do, I assume Roman's going to win because in no way should The Rock be the guy to stop a 1,500-day plus title reign, which is when we bring in yet more news and rumors, not news, it's not been confirmed at all, which apparently is that The Rock was pushing to beat Roman Reigns. Now, if that happens, 1, that's a totally different video. 2, my word, the chaos on the internet. 3, I don't think I'd like that at all, but I'm always happy to see these things play out on my television. I mean, going back to point number 2, I have to be completely honest with you. I've loved all this chaos. I've loved going on the internet and seeing people making funny memes and saying silly things and getting really enraged about this until, of course, they cross over the line and everyone decided to go and send death threats to Ava Raine, who, of course, is The Rock's daughter. I mean, there is no excuse for that. Even if she got 1, even if she got half of 1, even if she got 0.1 of 1, it doesn't matter. It's just professional wrestling. Get over it, man. Again, I'm the biggest Cody supporter ever. He's a hero of mine. He's an inspiration. None of it is actually massively important. He's still going to be fine. He's still going to be a bigger star out of this. And when you pop back into the real world, that is the crucial stuff. So stop saying horrible things to people. You understand they're human beings, right? And you understand they have emotions. She has deleted her Twitter account. Nobody should be doing that. But I do think it's going to be an absolute roller coaster for the next couple of months, and I, for one, am just going to tie myself in and enjoy it as much as possible. But yeah, gun to my head, I want Cody Rhodes to be the guy to beat Roman Reigns, and I think he should have done it at WrestleMania 40. And when you bring the Raw stuff into it, I mean, it could be Cody versus Drew versus Seth Rollins. It could be Cody versus Seth. It could be Drew versus Seth. Imagine we do Drew versus Seth, which I'm fine with, by the way. Drew McIntyre's been on fire recently, on night 1. And then we do Roman Reigns versus The Rock on night 2, and it's Cody versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Just like, cannot handle it. And I suppose there's so many moving parts. Seth Rollins could lose his main event spot as well. I don't think that's fair. I think he's earned that spot, although if you want to put Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley there, I'm not going to argue with you. But it's one of the reasons I felt so sorry for CM Punk. I felt like he wanted that to such a degree that it would have been nice to have seen him getting it. And of course, I understand there's going to be the reverse argument to that too. But Seth Rollins, for being the law guy that he always is, he absolutely, at least once, should be in a main event of WrestleMania. So I don't want that to be taken away from him either. Very interestingly, in an interview recently, he was like, we don't need your Rock. So either we're tying into this rhetoric massively, who the flub knows what's going on. Now, of course, the most important thing is I need you to tell me what you do think in the comments below. 1, are you on board with this? Because as always, the boat is tipped in the other direction. Now people are going, oh man, don't disrespect The Rock, but maybe you're Team Cody too. And what do we do on night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania? And if we do The Rock versus Roman Reigns, are you more interested if The Rock is a heel? I know I am. I think that would be so good as long as he leans into this as much as he possibly can. I need proper old school Rock. And I believe he can still do it. People say, oh, he's forgotten. He ain't forgotten. It's still in there. You just have to embrace this stuff. It's like an action role. And as always, make sure you engage and interact with the video as much as possible. And it's grillermind.com/Simon. You can Simon get 10% off. There's a Valentine's Day sale going on right now. So surprise, surprise, all testosterone booster stuff is related. Again, test boosters will help you a little bit. We're talking 1 to 2%. I always like to be honest with you. Patreon.com/Simon316. Instagram and Twitter is Simon316. Simon J. Miller on TikTok. Simon Miller on Cameo. If you want a Valentine's Day cameo, I can do that for you. Otherwise, there is Pro Wrestling Tees and Samson Athletics for merchandise. I believe that's it. Thanks for tuning in, my friends. You take care of yourself. Goodbye. Let's see what happens on the road to WrestleMania.